As tensions simmer on the Eastern European front, Ukraine and its Western allies find themselves on the edge, witnessing an ominous escalation in Russia's military capabilities. In a strategic move that has sent ripples across international forums, Russian President Vladimir Putin has openly declared an acceleration in the nation's tank production. This maneuver is not just a show of force, but a calculated step within Russia's extensive strategy to consolidate its position in the ongoing conflict with Ukraine. During a high-stakes meeting, Putin emphasized that this surge in tank production is a critical component of Russia's special military operation in Ukraine, underscoring the Kremlin's commitment to achieving its objectives.
Территорию диверсионно-террористических банд, состоящих из регулярных частей противника.
But the story doesn't end with tanks. Russia's blueprint for military supremacy extends beyond the battlefield behemoths to include a sophisticated arsenal of drones and artillery ammunition. This holistic enhancement of military manufacturing signifies a formidable intensification of Russia's warfare capabilities. As the shadow of conflict looms larger, the international community watches with bated breath, pondering the implications of this significant military expansion and its potential to alter the geopolitical landscape.
1976 по 1978 год на заводах в Омске и Харькове.
Furthermore, the president of Russia disclosed that the country's military industry is also scaling up the production of other armaments significantly. According to Putin, there has been a 10-fold increase in armored vehicles, a 7-fold rise in military vehicle equipment, and notably a 5-fold surge in main battle tanks. Putin has framed this production boost under the slogan "All for Victory," emphasizing the strategic importance of these increases. Although a 5-fold increase in tank production is a significant move, Putin did not provide specific figures to illustrate the exact scale of this enhancement.
Повторю, была проявлена высочайшая консолидация общества.
Sources indicate that as of December 2023, the Russian Ministry of Defense has dispatched approximately 1,500 tanks and 22,000 drones to the Russian military. In addition, these sources suggest that the Ministry of Defense has also supplied a variety of weapons, including 22,000 armored vehicles and about 1,400 missile and artillery systems to the Russian army, showcasing a substantial bolstering of Russia's military capabilities amidst ongoing conflicts.
Осуществляется на железнодорожной платформе. Отдельные подразделения совершают марши в составе автоколонн в сопровождении военной полиции. Командирам соединений и воинских частей.
The UK's Defense Intelligence Agency has revealed that the rate at which Russia is producing tanks each month is nearly equivalent to the number of tanks Ukraine destroys. On average, Ukraine manages to destroy about 3 Russian tanks per day. Thus, if Russia's initial production rate was 3 tanks per month, a 5-fold increase in production capacity would theoretically enable Russia to produce 15 tanks per month.
Так называют танковые колеса. После установки механики специалисты приступают к монтажу электрооборудования.
Observers speculate that despite this increase in production, it's unlikely that Russia will introduce entirely new tank models. However, it's plausible that Russia will focus on producing new equipment and upgrading existing tanks. Evidence of this strategy is seen in the enhancements made to the T-90M tank, which includes explosive reactive armor, ERA technology.
1976 по 1978 год на заводах в Омске и Харькове произведено было более 10 тысяч машин. До сих пор
The T-90M version has undergone significant upgrades, including improvements to the turret design, the integration of the advanced Kalina fire control system, and the new Urbis K gunner sight equipped with 4 video cameras providing a 360-degree battlefield view for the commander. These enhancements not only improve the tank's combat capabilities, but also allow Russian forces to execute more lethal combat strategies. Indeed, the T-90M prioritizes advancements in protection, mobility, and firepower. In terms of protection, the T-90M is equipped with explosive reactive armor, or ERA, on the front of the turret and hull. This advancement in armor technology is designed to enhance the tank's defense against various anti-tank weapons. Additionally, the T-90M features cage armor and anti-drone nets on its upper parts, strategically combined to counter first-person view drone threats and loitering munitions in contemporary warfare scenarios, demonstrating Russia's commitment to adapting its armored forces to modern combat challenges. The production of the modern T-90M tanks faces significant challenges, with reports indicating that only about 130 units have been supplied to the Russian ground forces. Consequently, the majority of Russian soldiers are equipped with upgraded versions of the older T-72 and T-80 tanks. A pressing question arises: why does Russia continue to rely on tanks that have been in service since the Soviet era? This situation is partly due to Russia having only around 200 reserve T-90 tanks and 417 active units within its armed forces, not including those destroyed by Ukrainian forces. To compensate for the diminishing T-90 reserves, Russia has opted to deploy the upgraded T-72 and T-80 tanks. Reports suggest Russia holds a reserve of approximately 7,000 T-72 units, with 2,000 actively deployed and about 3,000 reserve T-80 units with 480 in active service. This significant inventory is why Russia prefers to deploy these tanks in greater numbers. Furthermore, some analysts speculate that Putin may not prioritize the T-90 for increased production, with indications that production of the T-90 might even cease. Instead, efforts may focus on ramping up the production of the T-80 series, particularly following reports from September 2023 about the resumption of T-80 production.
На заводах в Омске и Харькове произведено было более 10 тысяч машин.
The reintroduction of the T-80, a tank originating from the Soviet era, presents its own set of challenges, especially given the rapid advancements in tank manufacturing and technology. The deployment of the T-80 in the conflict against Ukraine could potentially place Russian forces at a disadvantage, as modern military technology and tactics may outpace the capabilities of these older tank models, suggesting a complex balancing act in Russia's military strategy and procurement decisions. Given that the technology and capabilities of the original T-80 tanks are considered outdated, Russia plans to produce a more contemporary version of the T-80 to ensure its relevance in modern warfare. This initiative is not merely about making repairs or improvements, instead it involves manufacturing the T-80 tanks anew on a full scale from the ground up. This approach aims to make the tanks more compatible for use in combat, particularly in the ongoing conflict against Ukraine. To equip the T-80 for participation in the Russian invasion, the tank has been upgraded to the T-80 BVM version. This upgraded model is deemed sufficiently capable for use by the Russian ground forces. A key enhancement made by Russia is in the tank's protection system. The outdated explosive reactive armor ERA on the front has been replaced with the new relict ERA, offering improved overall protection. Additionally, the T-80 BVM version is protected by the 4S24 ERA package on its sides. Moreover, the tank's weaponry system has been updated to accommodate Russia's latest ammunition, significantly enhancing its combat effectiveness. The T-80 BVM also features a new gunner sight, TVD, and has been fitted with a more powerful 1,250 horsepower gas turbine engine, making this latest version of the T-80 a reliable asset on the battlefield. These upgrades have bolstered Russia's confidence in increasing the production of the T-80 BVM tanks. However, Uralvagonzavod, the manufacturer trusted with producing these tanks, faces challenges in ramping up the production of the T-80 at this time. The Russian manufacturing firm has expressed concerns about needing to expand its capacity before it can commence the increased production of this particular tank model, indicating logistical and infrastructural hurdles that need to be overcome to meet the Russian military's demands. During the height of the Soviet era, the Soviet Union boasted a significantly large tank industry, which enabled the mass production of tanks. This capability positioned the Soviet Union as the world's largest tank producer at the time, with annual production figures that were truly astonishing. To illustrate, within just a single year, the Soviet Union was capable of producing as many as 4,000 tanks, thanks to its extensive network of large factories. It is therefore not surprising that Russia today has a large inventory of Soviet-era tanks, like the T-72 and T-80 in its arsenal.
После установки пушки башня отправляется на электромонтаж, так же как и...
Beyond its massive domestic production, the Soviet Union was also the world's largest exporter of tanks during its time. This export activity meant that many of the tanks produced by the Soviet Union ended up being used by other countries. Notably, during this period, China emerged as a loyal customer for Soviet tanks. When it came to armored vehicles, India and Algeria were among its primary clients, purchasing significant quantities of Soviet-made armored machinery. This legacy of large-scale production and international export underlines the Soviet Union's influential role in shaping global military capabilities during the 20th century. The scale of production not only served its military ambitions, but also positioned the Soviet Union as a key player in the international arms trade, extending its influence well beyond its borders.